Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. We are going to do a basic yoga flow into a pose called triangle pose, Trikonasana. And it will be targeting the inner layers of the body. So it will help us to hug into the midline and extend out, and it'll go through all kinds of juicy layers of the body to help the flow and the health of the movement that goes on inside of our body. This one could also be looked at that it will help the flow and the chi and the energy of our liver meridian, since we're going to do a lot of movements for the adductors. So let's come to our yoga mat and take a comfortable seat. We are going to sit down and cross our legs in either ankle over ankle, or however you like to sit, crossing your legs. From here, let's take a nice big inhale with a nice big breath all the way up, and exhale, hands down to the side. And inhale, big breath, palms up. Your palms might not come together because of the shoulders. Your palms might come together. We'll keep it going. One more inhale and exhale. Another round. Inhale and exhale. Take it all the way back down. Nice. Let's come to all fours, to tabletop. Spread the fingers, tuck the toes under, and straighten your arms and tuck the toes underneath, and the knees and the hips are stacked above and below each other. Arch the spine up towards the sky. And exhale, hollow upper arm bones in. And exhale, arch the spine to the sky. Get a nice extension for the neck as well. And inhale, take it all the way back up. And exhale, we'll do it again. And just keep it moving. Few more laps around. And exhale. And come back to a neutral spine. From here, come down onto your left forearm and come up onto your right toes, your right fingertips. And lift your right leg up to 90 degrees. And open it to the side and circle it back down. Making some nice big hip circles, hip moves to open the flow for the lower body through the hips to the upper body. And from here we'll circle the different direction, lifting it up and around. Nice big circles. Using our abdomen to also move the leg around. One more circle. And switch to the second side. Take your right forearm down. Come up on your left fingertips, please. And then take your left leg up 90 degrees. Take it out to the side and circle it back down. And open up the pathways for the adductors, for the hip, the whole hip area, the rotators, the hip flexors, and we'll just keep it going. One more lap around, and then we'll switch second side and just looping it opposite direction, using our abdomen to lift our leg around. We'll take two more spins on this side. Nice. And then slowly from there, come back onto all fours. Step your knees back. Take your hips over your knees. Take your arms forward for a half downward facing dog. Tucking the toes under, lift your upper arm bones and stretch your arms away from you. And we're going to stay right here and just elongate out through the neck. Have a nice big long side of the waist, long side body. And gently come back with your hands underneath your shoulders again. And from here we're going to do a little bit more for the outer side of the body. Come up onto the fingertips. Lift your right arm up to the sky and take it back down. Second side. Lift your left arm up and take it back down. And first side, right arm up, take it back down. And one more each side to get some nice juicy energy going for the waist. And exhale, take it back down. This time, take your hands flat on the floor, tuck the toes, and come into our downward facing dog. You can move your feet in if you feel more comfortable and more steady right here for a shorter version down dog. Maybe that feels more steady. You can also step your feet out and your hands a little bit more forward and stretch into your fingers, your palms, pedal into your heels, into the ankles, mound of the big toe, inner ankles, inner knees, inner thighs, all the way up through the sides of the waist, in towards the shoulders and out the arms. Excellent. And from here, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, take a step over to the hands. Inhale, long spine, and exhale, fold. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, take your hands underneath your knees, long spine. And exhale, fold. Pull your hands underneath your knees. And exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky. Press the feet. Come all the way up to standing. Nice. And come with your feet hip width apart. Take your arms up and out to the side. Bend into your knees so that your hips and your ankles are stacked and it feels like a nice lift in the belly and support for the back and for the hips. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Take your right wrist over towards the left side. And you can give yourself a little extra pull on that right arm and get a big side crescent stretch. Breathing, softening. And then gently taking it up and switching sides. Take your left wrist and give a gentle pull over towards the right side. Breathing, softening, and slowly coming back up. Take the hands all the way down to the side. Bend the knees. Take the hands behind you. You can have your feet hip width apart. I'm just turning to show where my hands are. They're going to end up onto my sacrum, rolling the shoulders up and back, and we can keep them right here, and then just press into the feet and maybe extend the legs and lift the heart, the chest, the lungs, and just give yourself a nice smile from shoulder to shoulder, pressing in towards the feet and smiling, because this is fun and we're opening up into the chest. If it allows you, you can stretch your arms behind you. If it allows you from here, you can bend your knees more and hinge into a 90-degree angle, and you can have your arms behind you. You can fold forward, feel nice and steady in towards your feet, arms up to the sky, and release your head, your neck, lift your shoulders away from your ears, and exhale, release your hands to the floor, all the way down, and we'll come back and take a hand in each and elbow and bend your knees and swinging side to side. And from here, release the hands to the floor, support yourself as you come all the way down to a seat. Take your heels forward, and we're going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae with your arms forward and tucking the tailbone under and securing the front side of the belly in towards the spine and feeling nice and plugged in. We can always take the hands to the floor here for support to get all the way down. Stretch the arms over the head and take your arms out to the side. Take your right knee into the chest. Hug it all the way in. Your left foot can be flat on the floor. Your left knee can be bent. You can also extend your left leg out and get a nice clear stretch through your left hip flexor and thigh. Take your right leg up towards the sky, hands around your hamstrings. Enjoy having your leg up here and getting a nice stretch into the back of the leg, and at the same time press up through the root of the big toe and clear the inner layers of the leg. You can stay right here, or we can exhale and roll up, using our abdominals to roll up and take our hands up towards the lower leg, somewhere where it is maybe around the knee. Maybe it comes up towards the foot. Take your head towards your knee and stretch into the back of the leg by hugging the front side of the belly together towards the front. Take a nice big breath right here and exhale, release. Hands back underneath your knee. Bend your knee and take it out to the side. Take your right arm inside your right leg and hand outside of the foot. This will be a half happy baby pose. So the knee comes outside of the shoulder, and we're breathing, we're softening, we're opening up in towards the adductors, hamstring area, the whole back side of the leg in a nice turn and a little compression on towards the right side of the hip as we're stretching out through the left leg. Press your hand and your foot into each other, and you might stretch your right leg out to the side. And gently from there, bend it back in. Take your leg into the chest, hug it all the way in, and switch sides. Take your left knee into the chest, and your right foot can be flat on the floor. Your knee can be straight up, or you can straighten your right leg forward. Hugging your left knee in towards the chest, and then from there, extending your leg up to the sky. Just straight up. Hands interlaced around the hamstrings, and we get a nice elongation on the right side, and there's a nice curve in the lower back that will undo knots and free up the lower back and the spine. And this is a good way to also, of course, get some good stretching in towards our hamstrings. From here, we can stay, or we can start to use your abdominals and lift up and roll yourself up with your hands walking up towards the ankle for hand to big toe pose. Your hands might come towards the foot, your head might come towards the lower leg, towards the knee, as we are extending out through the toes, out through the root of the big toe, breathing, softening, and exhale, release. And from there, hands back around your hamstrings, right above the knee, bending your knee out to the side. You might have your hands here. You might take your left arm inside your leg, hands outside the foot for happy baby pose, where we have to put a little extra attention on the right side so that we can have the left leg bent to the side. And opening up in towards the adductors, hamstrings, and getting a little pressure, a little nice compression on towards the left hip, extending your left leg out to the side. Maybe you keep it bent, maybe you extend it. We'll just give ourselves a few breaths right here. And gently bring it back in, bend your knee, hug your knee all the way into the chest. Extend your arms, extend your legs, and straighten your right and your left side, back and forth. A few hip movements this way and that way. Circle your arms, take your knees into the chest, and we're going to roll up onto a seat, and then we'll take 5 rolls together on the spine to just kind of massage the spine after compressing down onto it. So you can have your hands by your knees or underneath. I like underneath. Let's do 5 rolls back and forth. And breathe with it, and we'll have fun with it, and we tone our spine and the front side of the belly, and we just keep going. And I think we'll do one more for good measure, just in case we missed one. Cross at the ankles, and from here, come back to all fours to tabletop, please. Plug the upper arm bones in, step your knees back, and tuck the toes and come up into downward facing dog. This time, step your feet back so that you have that nice V shape into your down dog. Pressing in towards your heels, spreading your fingers, pushing the floor away, Lifting from your fingers to your wrist, wrists to shoulders, shoulders to hips, hips flowing down, energy in the back of the legs down towards your heels. You can come up on the toes and bend your knees and get a nice big extension. Nice. And then from here, take a step towards your hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Hands to hips, elbows to sky. Press the feet, come up to standing. And we have reached our feet wide apart pose before our Trikonasana. So just simply straddle open your feet wide apart. A good rule of thumb is to have our ankles and our wrists stacked above and below each other. Wingspan, so take a little look. It's usually wider than we sometimes think. So your legs will tell you. Take your hands to your hips. Inhale, take the gaze up towards the sky. Keep that nice micro bend in towards the knees. Hinge and fold forward for forward fold with your hands on your hips. And we're just gonna do a nice big forward fold right here. Getting a flexion in towards the hips, in towards the femurs, and then gently come back up from there. Nice. Take your arms out to the side. And turn your right heel in, turn your right toes out. Bring your heel so that's in the center of your left arch. From here, let's take your left hand to the back and press in from your hips, even from your armpits, all the way down to the hips, down to the feet, and stay super grounded as you, at the same time, reach the energies up through that right arm and find a whole long side of the waist in your right side of the body. Lots of juicy energy and energy pathways to move in the side of the waist for a healthier body. And then gently from here, come over into a nice 90 degree with your left hand on the hip. Turn your palm down, take your hand underneath your knee. There's a slight micro bend into both knees. Take your left arm up to the sky if it allows you. And here is one form of Trikonasana. And you might sail your hand down with control towards the ankle, and you choose where it feels good for your hand to be. Take your fingers maybe behind your shin ankle, maybe on a block, maybe onto the floor. Maybe you keep it on the shin. Take your hand to your hip and bow in. And notice how your femurs get some space to move back towards the back body. Keep them back there and then tone the belly. And then from there, we'll extend back out to Trikonasana one more time. And open pathways from the mounts of the big toes, inner ankles, inner knees, inner thighs, groins, hips, up through the side of the body, out the shoulders, out the arms. Nice. Take your left hand to your hip. Excellent. Take your gaze down, bend your front knee, and come back up with your arms out to the side. And then we'll take the hands to the hips again. Turn the toes forward, slightly pigeon-toed. Inhale, lift your heart, your chest, your lungs, and exhale. Take it all the way down with your head towards the floor, keeping your balance, all four corners of the feet, hands to hips, lift your shoulders away from the ears. Press into the feet and come back up to standing. Nice. Turn your left heel in and your left toes slightly out. Take your arms out to the side and take your right hand to your thigh and your back, and again from your shoulders down, from your armpits down into your hips, down into the knees, down into the ankles, feet, root down, super steady. And from that place, raise your left arm up for a nice long side body and freeing up all kinds of juicy pathways on the whole left side of the body for optimal flow of energy to all beneficial places in our body and cleaning and clearing. And exhale from here, take your left hand right to below the knee. The right arm can come up towards the sky. You can have your hand on your hip, micro bend in towards the knees. Breathing, softening, and you might Sail your left hand down towards your ankle. You might take it down behind your foot, and you might have a block for your hand. You might take the gaze up towards your thumb, whereas at the same time you're pulling the energy into the belly, so you're staying plugged into the midline. Few more breaths right here. And then take the hand to the hip, and then we'll bow in for a moment and notice how our femurs goes back. And it becomes round in the spine, and the femurs plug back a little bit more. From that place, just lengthen the tailbone and push more energy into the feet and raise your arm up and feel a little bit more space in towards the hips. Breathing, softening, melting. One more breath. And exhale, take your right hand back to the hip, gaze down, bend your left knee, and come all the way up. Take your arms out to the side, hands behind, interlace your hands, roll the shoulders up and back like a nice smile from shoulder to shoulder, ears back, clean and clear the side of the neck, clean and clear into the shoulders. Anchor down into your legs and your feet and fold forward if it's for you. Push your femurs back and take the top of the head towards the floor. It does not have to reach the floor. It might for some of you. Some of you might reach your arms up and turn into the layers of the side body. You can release your head, your neck, flowing side to side. And exhale, release, hands to the sacrum and hands down to the floor, and come to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walking about into your down dog, finding some new spaces. And then from here, we're gonna come up onto the toes and bend the knees and hug the legs together and close our practice just by sitting in a nice, comfortable, hugged in way and letting our legs just kind of relax after being all that stretched out. So we'll take a few moments to sit here together, and I hope you enjoyed your journey to Trikonasana, triangle pose, to open up the adductor, the inner layers of the body, side of the waist, out of the shoulders, and in towards the throat, and targeting pieces of the liver meridian and a lot of other goodies as well. And let's just sit with that for a moment, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. Slowly bring the hands together in front of the heart. And I thank you so much for joining me for this short hip opening and juicy leg stretching yoga session into Trikonasana. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we'll close our practice with an Om, and then we'll take Shavasana together. And you'll stay as long as your body wants you to rest and absorb the different layers of the poses that we just did, so that it has a chance to find its right place in our body and updating the layers. We'll take an Om together, take a nice big inhale. Open your eyes so you can make your way down to Shavasana in a nice, comfortable, happy, safe way. And I look forward to seeing you in my next class. Press your head down and find a comfortable Shavasana. And rest here for another 7 minutes or so. And just letting all the muscles be heavy. Moving the breath through all parts of the body. And remembering to rewarding yourself after yoga practice with a big glass of water.